Welcome to DownNotableContent. My name is Alex.
And I'm SJ. We share the last name Herschel and are two down-to-earth guys bringing notable content to you from the world of gaming.
Today, we're going to update you on our current games and then also discuss the recent Tears of the Kingdom trailer.
Let's get right into it.
Herschel. Herschel. Herschel.
How are you, Alex? It has been too long.
It has been. It's been almost a month since we recorded together.
That's the longest lapse I think we've ever had, maybe with the exception of when you were out of the country. But even then, I don't think it was that long. Because we recorded right before you left and pretty much right when you got back.
Yeah. I was thinking like maybe the gap between season 1 and season 2, but I think we actually, like in that gap where you guys didn't get any episodes, I think we actually had 2 episodes recorded before we released anything for the new season. So yeah this is right. Probably the longest
we had like
lapse.
Stuff in the
we had stuff on the back burner.
Yeah.
But
so something sad happened to me this morning.
Oh no. What happened?
I put on this shirt. This isn't the nicest shirt I have, but it's just really comfortable. And this is like my Friday work shirt. And I did this and noticed that my elbow is just completely ripped. And I guess it's just time to retire the shirt.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. I got this shirt in Japan in 2015. So I guess it's about time.
It served you well.
It has, yeah.
And you don't even have to throw it away. Honestly, you can hold on to it. Frame it. Put it up on your wall.
I think I'll just throw it away. Yeah. Any interesting happenings with you that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So, for all you listeners out there...
Oh, if you want to.
No, yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
For all you listeners out there, I know a good amount of you follow us on social medias and then also know us personally. And so you have a bit more insight into our day-to-day lives. So some of you probably already know this. But last week, I got engaged.
Woo! Engaged.
Yeah, I proposed to my girlfriend and she said yes, and we are now in the process of planning our wedding. So stay tuned for that. I'll be sure to give y'all updates. I might give you a mini episode or 2 going over kind of that process and how it went. Maybe even giving insight into our relationship, how it started, and maybe share some stories with you guys there. But you'll have to let me know if you want to hear about that, because if you don't, I totally get it. If you want us to just be talking about games, I won't take it personally. But if y'all are interested, I'd be more than happy to share.
If you become a Patreon supporter, you'll be invited to the wedding. So
I can confidently say that our entire Patreon list right now is invited to my wedding. So if you want to get on that list, you know what you got to do.
There you go.
Awesome.
Just kidding. So we have some gaming updates for you guys because it's been so long. So we kind of want to let you know what we've been up to in terms of video games.
Yes. And before we jump into that, I just want to thank Zach once again for being willing to come on and kind of fill in for me last week. I mean, we were going to have him on anyway, and that probably doesn't come out the right way. But it was super cool to kind of be on the other side and see an episode fresh and not be in the...
yeah, that was the first time you weren't there.
Not be involved in the making of...
Pretty weird.
So it was pretty cool. And Zach, you did an awesome job. So thank you for being an awesome host. And I hope that we can get you on again sometime.
Oh, yeah.
And it can be the 3 of us, because that would be kind of cool. So, but you, my friend, have told us that you have 3 games that you'd like to discuss today. I have 2. So I was thinking we'll just alternate and we'll start with you. And it'll just kind of sandwich out pretty nicely.
No Man's Sky. I'll just cut right to the chase. No. That's a game that I've been interested in for a very long time. I have never pulled the trigger because I just have had other games that I've been playing or was more interested in at the time. I saw it on sale for $30. So I actually reached out to Zach and said, hey, do you think I'll like this? Because you know the kind of games I like, you know, in terms of space games. Elite Dangerous is my favorite. Elite Dangerous is one of my favorite games of all time. But how does it stack up? Do you think I'll like it? And he said, well, I own it on Steam, and we share our libraries. So why don't you try it out first before you commit? And the way he described it to me was, you know, it's basically like Elite Dangerous's exploration with like a lot of Minecrafty elements in terms of, you know, gathering materials, building your base and stuff like that. And that sounded really, really interesting to me. So I was like, I was initially just going to buy it, but because he told me to try it, you know, and he wasn't 100% sure whether I'd like it, I was like, okay, I'll try it out. So I downloaded it and I booted it up. I actually started it in VR. It has VR and pancake mode. For those that are unaware, pancake mode is just when you play on a monitor or TV. Pancake, it's flat. Yeah. Well, non-VR players are like, wait, what's pancake mode? And it did not impress me when I first started it. It was the world was really colorful, looked pretty good, but it was really grindy. And like, just for context, or to put it in perspective. So like, you're thrown onto a planet at the beginning of the game, and you're told, hey, this is how things work. And to be fair, it does do a good job of telling you what you need to do and how to do things. And it kind of walks you through each little thing step by step. The first thing you learn is, oh shoot, I don't have like my suit, my space suit is like out of energy or whatever. So I have to kind of walk around, scan the area for, I think it's sodium it first wanted me to collect. And then so I find some sodium, and then it says, okay, you can drag the sodium and put it onto your suit, and then it'll power it up. And then you'll be fine for a while. So I did that. And then constantly, so like there's a bar that tells you the energy level of your suit and all of your different peripherals, and it's like every 5 minutes, I swear, I have to refill the suit. At least that's how it felt. Maybe it's not literally 5 minutes. It was incredibly tedious. It did not add any value to the gameplay, and that's so like that's always in the background, in the back of my mind, as I'm doing everything else the game wants me to do. So it's really difficult for me to like be engaged in the exploration process of the game and the building process of the game when I have to worry about that and like some other things. And I don't know, like imagine playing Minecraft and you have to eat food like every couple minutes, right? Like I think Minecraft does it well, because, you know, if you take damage and you regenerate your hearts, or if you're sprinting, like your food meter goes down and you have to eat. It's not constant. So that was a turnoff for me. So I went back to Zach and said, hey, not gonna lie, it's kind of grindy. Will it get better? Do I need to give it more of a chance? You know, I played it for about a couple of hours so far. This is where I'm at. And actually, I think I talked about it with him right before we were about to record the last episode. So forgive me if I talked about any of this in that podcast episode. I don't think I did. But he said, honestly, I think you have given it a fair chance. If you don't like it right now, you probably aren't gonna like it, but you could give it like another hour. That would get you more into the game. But that's up to you. And if you play for another hour and you still don't like it, you will not like the game at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at, and I haven't gone back to play it for another hour because I've been kind of hopping around between the two other games that I will talk about. So I might eventually give it another shot, but initial reactions, I don't know, but like I almost feel like there's something wrong with me, or I'm doing something wrong, or maybe I just have not given it enough time, because all of the reviews online are like, they have polished this game. It is so good now, like all of these raving reviews. And I've hardly ever played a game that had such good reviews that I didn't enjoy, So anyway, that's where I'm at with that.
Interesting.
If any of you have played No Man's Sky, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
As for myself, I maintain the fact that I took 18 credit hours of school this semester. Oof. And in addition to that, worked a minimum of 20 hours a week, and sometimes it would get up to like 30 if I was picking up extra shifts.
Oh.
And then with having a girlfriend at the time that meaning now she is my fiance, that I could only see on the weekends. My weekends were pretty much dedicated to her because those were my only opportunities to be with her.
As it should be. And
so it just meant that I really didn't have a lot of time. And when I did have time, I was too exhausted to actively engage with games. And so I maintain that is the reason that I don't engage.
Sorry.
That I don't have a lot to share when it comes to updates most of the time. But knowing that we were going to do this today, I have been grinding this last week. And with the semester coming to a close, I've been able to create a bit of free space in my time, and I do have updates. And so the first one is still going to be pretty minor, but I made progress on Eastward.
Okay.
And it was kind of disappointing, actually. So for those of you that don't remember, we left off on Eastward with me being a little bit past halfway through the game. There are 8 chapters, and I had finished chapter 5. Well, there's actually 8 chapters and a prologue, so I was probably like 2/3 through. But I had 3 chapters left. And I played through chapter 6, which was easily the weakest chapter of the game so far. Basically, the story kind of takes a halt, and you're on your way to this next big area where you know a lot's going to happen, because we've been talking about reaching this point in the game for a while. And on the way there, the way that you go to different areas in Eastward is by a train. And so you're on a train heading to your next location, and they have an entire chapter on the train, which wouldn't have been an issue, except the story kind of goes off the rails, and I'm not going to share anything too important, but basically you go from this last city where a lot of really, really emotionally intense stuff happened, and you get dropped in the middle of a movie set on a train where all the actors and directors are monkeys.
Huh?
They call it Monk-Gollywood. Hollywood and monkey mixed together.
So is that actually as weird as it sound in the context of the world of the game?
So the game is really quirky.
Yeah.
But we haven't had any talking animals. We haven't... So
it's still completely
it is weird.
Out of left field.
It is weird. And so it was... I mean, I love Eastward. And I still think that even with this, it's still an incredible game that everyone should play. And I haven't even finished yet. But I did go online and I was like, did I miss something? Like, was it supposed to be like a satire of something? Was the humor just not hitting with me for some reason? Like, what's going on? But it just seems pretty widely agreed upon the community that's played Eastward that Chapter 6 is just kind of a miss. Where it was kind of... A lot of people think that what happened was that there are rumors that developers brought the game to the studio, and the studio just wanted like a little bit of a longer game, and so they kind of inserted this chapter, and so like it doesn't destroy the game, but it is a very weird tone shift, and wasn't as enjoyable as the rest of the game. So if you're playing through Eastward or planning on playing it, I will give you that notice that there is a chapter that is very weird. And it doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. Maybe it will, like at the end of the game. Maybe something will happen where it's like, oh.
That's why there were monkeys filming a movie on a train. And
I don't know,
arrived
man.
there.
I don't know, man. But yeah, so making progress on Eastward. I'm stand by my goal that I'm trying to get that done by the time that Tears of the Kingdom comes out.
Oh, brother, you're losing time quick.
I know. But since the semester's ending, like, I really do think I'll be able to get it done.
True. Yeah, you'll be fine.
But I did take a break from Eastward to talk about the game that I'll talk about in a little bit, just because after that chapter, I was like, okay, I just need a little bit of space, let this sit, and then we'll get back to this soon.
Okay. Well, good to know. My next game is Skatebird. You heard that right. Skate as in skateboard and bird as in bird. Look it up if you haven't heard of it. When the trailer first dropped for this game, I was immensely excited. It was set to be released on, I think, like Xbox, PC, and Switch. And I was like, I'm going to buy that on the Switch. That looks like such a good time. And the birds are just absolutely adorable. You can customize them. You can pick like what kind of bird you want to be. You can make it like wear glasses, shades, bandanas, hats. It's just so cute and wholesome. And they actually, throughout the whole game, they refer to birds as burbs, not birds. Kind of playing into that. And, you know, it doesn't really take itself seriously. It's fun. It's cute. And I'm not really a big, like, skateboarding video game guy. Like, I've played a couple of the Tony Hawk games in the past. I just get bored of them quickly. But this game, you're playing as birds instead of humans. So that was enough to pique my intrigue. But when the game dropped, I watched reviews, and a lot of the reviews were like, this is kind of mid, slightly unpolished, a little bit of bugs, and I was watching these for like the Switch, like reviews for the Switch. And it was a few weeks ago when I saw it go on sale on Steam. And so I thought, oh, well, it's $4.99 on Steam. Maybe I'll give it a shot. And I looked up like updated reviews for PC specifically, and most people enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, the PC version is the one to get, not the Switch version. So I downloaded it, played it. I've played it for probably an hour or two. You know, it's not a game that you play for a really, really long time. It's just fun to casually play, mess around with every now and then. And it's been great. Yeah, I will probably play it a little bit more before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. I don't expect to really play it more than, I don't know. I don't think I'll play it more than 10 hours tops in total. But even just a couple hours that I've put into it already, I'm happy with it. If you like birds, and it's not just birds, right? Like, just go look up the trailer for this game, because it's the graphics, the music, the style of these birds. They're kind of cartoonish in like body proportions, but they're still kind of realistic looking birds, so it's got that sweet spot. Just looks really, really cute. So yeah, that's Skatebird. Go check it out if you're interested. If you're on the Switch, your experience may vary. It does look really good on PC. But yeah.
Bam. Skatebird.
Mm-hmm.
The other game that I've been playing is, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, please tell me you've been playing Xenoblade.
Yes. Yes. Because I recognize I really wanted to talk about Ori today, and I really wanted to spend time on Ori. Here's the problem. Xenoblade is such a beast to tackle, and if you guys have forgotten, I may have made a promise that I shouldn't have made, that Eastward,
yeah, I remember.
Ori, Xenoblade, and Tears of the Kingdom would all be completed by the end of 2023. And Xenoblade is a game where, even as it continues to improve, which I'll talk about in a bit, about how it's getting better, is not a game that I think I can play from start to finish. I think it's something where I need to play it for 5 to 10 hours and then not touch it for a week or two, and then pick it back up again and just have other games that I'm playing at the same time. And so if I leave Xenoblade and I get to the middle of October and I realize, okay, I have a month to finish this game and I have to play nothing but this game, I'm going to lose my mind and I'm not going to want to play it and I'm not going to finish it. And so this just needs to be a game where I'm consistently getting bits of it at a time, and that makes it enjoyable. The last time I talked about this, I had just finished chapter 3.
Can I interject?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
I am a firm believer that if a game is no longer enjoyable to you, you will get more value out of it by not playing it than playing it. Mm-hmm. So, for the record, I do think there's absolutely no shame in not finishing the game if you either don't want to or can't this year.
So for me, I don't think it's that. I think it's... I'm trying to think of another good example, because like the game is good. It is good. But I don't know, do you have a game where it's like when you get like a Smash Bros bug or something, and like for a couple weeks, like all you want to play is Smash Bros. And then you're like, okay, I'm good to not play it for a little bit, and then you can come back and revisit it. So it's kind of like how multiplayer games like drag you in for seasons at a time, and then you just need a little bit of space, and then when you come back, it's still really enjoyable. It's just
you just can't do it consistently all the time.
And that's just for me.
Okay. I understand.
Jordan,
that.
I would love to hear from you on whether or not you agree with this. But that is the case. And so Xenoblade is just something that I have to consistently fit into my schedule here and there. Because it is good and I do want to finish it. And when I play it, I enjoy it. I just also recognize that I have limits to how long I can play it before I'll start to no longer enjoy it.
Yeah.
But so we were at the end of chapter 3, and now I am about to finish chapter 4. Remember, the chapters in this game are really, really long. They're like 10 hours a piece. So I've put a good amount of time into Xenoblade. It is better. It is better.
So you've gone over that hump that you were talking about with Jordan, right?
Yeah. The gameplay has gotten a little bit deeper. It is still a base game loop, which isn't as engaging as I would like it to be. But the story is getting a bit more captivating. They're asking some very... When it comes to books and movies and games and stories, I become very invested in like the themes and bigger messages that the game is trying to tell you without explicitly spelling it out.
Yeah. And
this game is tackling some very, very interesting themes and ideas and questions. And So that makes it enjoyable, and I'm enjoying it. The characters are developing. Every once in a while you get a little bit. And today, I actually reached a point in the story that made me quite sad.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, a character that has been a highlight of the game so far for me, is no longer with us. And I can say that because it's not a main character, it is a side character, but it is one that I enjoyed seeing and meeting and learning about, and they are gone. And it's sad. And I legitimately am like, dang, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Xenoblade's kind of good. It's pretty good. I have the weirdest relationship with that game, man.
Yeah, you do.
Like,
it's like the
history of excitement, and then
your hype for that game was unreal.
So super excited to get it.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Yeah.
Play it. First chapter, phenomenal. So good. One of the strongest starts to a game. And then chapter 2 came. And we talked about chapter 2 a lot on our Xenoblade episode.
Yeah.
But man, chapter 2, it's a mess. It's a mess. And then chapter 3 was picking it up. And chapter 4 is getting there. And now I'm sad. And the game made me sad. And not because it's bad, but because it did what it was supposed to do.
Right.
And so I've loved this game for what it was, for what it isn't. And I've hated this game for what it was. And now I'm mad at the game for what it's done. But it makes sense, and it's not mad enough to keep me from playing. So just a lot of feelings about that game. But here on this channel, or on this podcast channel, what the heck? Y'all know how big we are on feelings that come from video games. And so, at the very least, it's doing something right. And y'all should check it out.
It's getting you emotionally invested, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
because you cared about that character, and that's good.
Xenoblade.
My last game, I am sure I've talked to you about this game, Rivals of Aether.
I don't know what that is in the slightest.
Rivals? Okay, I'm just gonna pull something up so you can see it.
I legitimately have
Give me one moment.
Zero idea.
Never seen this game?
No. I have no idea what this is. Is it a fighting game?
Yeah. It's a Smash clone, basically. But that would be a bit of an understatement. So Rivals of Aether came out during the Smash 4 era. It has a lot of mechanics from Melee, like wave dashing and stuff. But how do I describe this? So it's a Smash clone with unique characters. It's a 2D sprite style game. It's much more fast paced than Smash. So think of this like Smash Melee, except it's a lot easier for you to get your foot in the door and do some like solid combos. But the skill ceiling is still very high. So a lot of room for growth. People like Erica. Zach came over last night. We were playing some Rivals, and Erica joined us, and she played good. She played really well. So people that are familiar with Smash will be able to pick up this game fairly quickly, especially if you're... So, like, you know, in Smash, so, like, you've got N-lag, which is the amount of time you can't take action after you throw out a move in Smash. That is significantly reduced overall. And there's just... The characters can move so much faster than they do in Smash. So it's just most of the stocks are hype all the time. You can kind of make up custom combos on the go, like with every single character. So it's just really, really fun and fast paced, and it's a great change of pace from Smash. A couple of the major differences are you cannot grab the ledge. There's no shield, and every character can wall jump. And after you wall jump, it resets your up B. So for all of you Smash players out there, you can imagine how that would change the dynamic of, getting back to the stage. And since you don't have a shield, it's a much more offensive game. So, both of you are always weaving in and out. And if one of you gets a hit, you're going to want to capitalize on that as much as you can by comboing the opponent. And it's fairly common that, you would have a near 0 to death by one player, and then the other player comes back and nearly 0 to death the other one. It's really, really fun. So I've been playing that a lot with Jordan and Zach, and especially on Steam, it has something called rollback netcode, for those of you that are familiar. Basically, it makes online fighting games near lagless.
That's really cool.
And I really mean that. It's really good.
It's awesome.
It's a great game. In fact, Jonah, your little brother, and I played Rivals last time he came over, and he completely is hooked.
Sounds about right.
We'll have to try it out sometime. It's a very, very good game, and it's like I was really, really reluctant to play this at first when Jordan first introduced it to me years ago, because I'm personally not a big fan of Smash clones because I just love Smash so much.
Yeah.
But this has a lot of its own merits that warrant, someone's attention. So
that's awesome.
That's my last one.
So there's our gaming updates. But as you know, we love Zelda, and we have a big Zelda update. We
gotta take a few minutes on.
We gotta take a minute. So for those of you that don't know, because I didn't know until SJ sent me the link, and my older brother did not know that this trailer had come out until I told him about it today, actually. A new Zelda trailer came out, and if you haven't watched it, turn this episode off and go watch it.
Yeah, right now.
Like,
Tears
seriously?
of the Kingdom, trailer number 3.
Seriously.
It's the third trailer.
Seriously. It is more important to me that you watch that trailer than listen to us talk about it. So if you leave the episode here, that's completely okay. Completely okay. Go do it right now. Okay. Basically, this trailer was so good.
Holy crap. I think this might be the best video game trailer I've ever seen. The only one I can think of that rivals this is Twilight Princess.
Interesting picks.
The trailer.
Interesting picks. Twilight Princess's trailer is nice.
Or Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild won for me. Breath of the Wild won
Um,
for me. But it is such a good trailer, man. Like,
oh gosh.
So I was telling SJ this. Over the last little bit, I have been trying to keep my expectations for this game as calm as possible. Yeah. I try to do that with everything that comes out, whether it's a movie or a game. But I was really trying with this one. Because as reliable as Nintendo is when it comes to Zelda, I've put somewhere between 130 and 150 hours into Breath of the Wild. My first playthrough of that game, I did not use fast travel at all. I only rode my horse around, meaning that if I needed to get from northwest to southeast, I got on my horse.
And you enjoyed that, right?
And I rode for 25 minutes, and it was awesome. It was awesome. It felt so good. In fact, I got so attached to that horse that there was one moment where a guardian killed it, and I immediately dropped everything that I was doing. I hopped on a horse, didn't even go to the stable to register it, just hopped on an untamed horse and I had discovered the method that the game provides to revive horses earlier, and immediately went and rode there as fast as I could.
You didn't just go back to your last save?
Nope.
You wanted the experience of...
Yep.
Yeah.
I went back and I saved that horse.
That.
On my second playthrough, I went to every shrine and did all of the DLC. So I've just put a lot of time into the outworld. And so I was concerned that this game wouldn't be as impactful because it would feel like more of the same.
Yeah.
And granted, there might be that from time to time. And I also had the distinct thought in the trailer, pretty near the beginning, there's one part where you see trees and grass and the tree leaves are orange. So it's like kind of like a fall, autumn setting in that part of the game. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back. And then Link walks into Hiteno Village and I said, okay, I'm ready to go back.
Man.
And it was over. It was over. And it's the best. Oh.
So, okay, we're fine to talk about any part of the trailer now, right? Because any of you still listening right now, if you're still listening right now, that means you have gone back to watch that video. Okay?
Yes, and I'm going to request something. I didn't look particularly hard for it in the trailer, but as you know, I have not watched the little gameplay thing that they did. And so I know that some mechanic was revealed that's going to be very impactful to the game. And if we saw that in the trailer, please don't talk about it because I didn't notice it, and I'd like it to stay that way where I don't know what that mechanic is. I
actually did not watch whatever...
Like that video, like the gameplay demo?
Yeah.
You didn't watch it either?
I totally forgot.
Oh.
So I haven't watched that, so I don't even know. I mean, they revealed... I mean, you saw what I saw. I don't know if any of that is inclusive of what they discussed in that gameplay reveal thing.
Okay. But anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I think part of what makes this trailer so good is that it shatters everybody's expectations, because it kind of cemented and established everybody's expectations with the first two trailers, you know.
Uh-huh.
The first one was really cool. It set the stage. You kind of realize what's going on. The second one, it kind of gave you a sneak peek on a little more things, different things Link can do that he couldn't do before in Breath of the Wild. And this one, it's like, forget all that. You're not alone anymore. You're straight up fighting a war with everybody. Like, everything is happening. Ganondorf is back, and he looks better than ever. Holy crap.
Can we pause there real quick? I cried during this trailer.
Me too.
And it was that point that I cried is when you saw that you weren't fighting alone, and you were fighting with characters that we met in the first game. And I got so emotionally overwhelmed at the thought, because Breath of the Wild is so great. And that feeling of solidarity and your need to fulfill this quest alone works perfectly. And I'm also very excited that we don't have to feel so lonely this time around, that you have people that you see you're working with. And I really hope that it's not just those few snippets throughout the game, but that's something that's a bit more consistent this time around.
Right.
Is that cooperative element. You might not be co-oping with another player, but the fact that you have other people helping you in your fight against...
It's so cool. It's
the
like
Demon King Reborn.
It's like the sense of unity, right? That comes from fighting alongside people that you, through playing Breath of the Wild, got to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just, there's something so rewarding about that. Mm-hmm. Especially because you know the history of what happened 100 years ago, you know, when Link was defeated and all of that, and everybody's fighting together. And now you're fighting with the next generation of warriors and the people of Hyrule, and it's just so cool. I think the moment I really freaked out was when I saw Ganondorf. I love Ganondorf. He is the best. He's my favorite villain of all time. A lot of that, I'm sure, is just bias and nostalgia, but oh my gosh, I love Ganondorf. I'm just so happy he's back, and I was joking with some of my friends, like, the game is Tears of the Kingdom, and he was like mummified in the previous trailers, and well, he soaked up all the Tears of the Kingdom, and now he's rejuvenated.
No, I'm excited to see how they bring him back, because they made a pretty big deal at the end of Breath of the Wild in your final fight that Ganon had given up hopes of reincarnation to take on that beast form.
Right.
And so I'm very excited to see, because they're obviously going to have a way that it works, and I'm super excited to see what this Ganondorf came from and how it came to be, because his design is on point. He's very well designed. The body tattoos work super well.
He looks so good.
Like perfectly fit as this. I feel like a lot of times when you look at Ganondorf, because of his like clothing and stuff, like he either seems in Wind Waker, Ganondorf's fat, right? In Wind Waker, he's fat. In Twilight Princess, he's got all this heavy jewelry on and just kind of moves slow. But in this one, he legitimately looks like, okay, yeah, this is immediately an intimidating persona, and I am so excited to see what they do with him.
When we first see Ganondorf in that trailer, we see his backside, and we see his red, burning hair, just
full flowing.
Exactly, flowing. And I first thought, that looks like Demise.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I hope that's not Demise, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show him turn around, and it's Ganondorf, and I was like, yes, that is exactly how things should be. Yeah, I totally agree. Ganondorf looks great, and I think I love that they went back to the taller nose, like how it was in Wind Waker, like how it is in Smash now, like how it was in Ocarina of Time. I think that looks a lot better than the design direction that they went in Twilight Princess. Although I love that Ganon too. Yeah, I really wonder whether he is he the same Ocarina of Time Ganondorf? That's my main question, right? Because we don't know. So it is the Ganondorf from 10,000 years ago, but we don't know when that war 10,000 years ago took place in terms of the timeline. So it very well could be the same Ganondorf. It could be somebody different.
Yeah.
He certainly looks like that Ganondorf, but we may never find out, actually.
Yeah.
But
it's super cool. Another thing, Zelda always has beautiful music design. And so one thing that I'm really excited for is that I know that a lot of people didn't like how Breath of the Wild's music was done, because there just wasn't a lot of it, right? Like it was pretty ambient based.
Yeah.
And some people had issues with that. I didn't. And I think that every single track that you do have, so any of the village themes, character themes, and just overall themes of the game itself, I think are spot on.
Yeah.
And so you heard bits of that in the trailer, and then you heard changes and modifications. So I'm a sucker for when, artists will take their music and remix it, for lack of a better word. And so I'm really excited to see what they bring back and how they improve upon it, and then what else they bring in. Because obviously there are going to be new areas and new scenarios that we haven't encountered before, and how are they going to incorporate that?
Oh, gosh.
There's just... If you're not hyped for this game, how are you not hyped for this game?
I don't know how you cannot be hyped for this game. I mean, this game single-handedly isn't it unretiring somebody that you know?
My father is a brilliant man, and growing up, loved games, loved them. Would play Mario with his brothers. And he's a big Zelda guy. We had our N64. He played through Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker on the GameCube, and 100%ed all of them. Loves to do it. And then, as he got older and his kids got older and he had more responsibilities come up from different things, he just didn't have time for games, and he stopped for a while. And a few years after Breath of the Wild had come out, he started to play it. He had some time on Saturdays after, some things had calmed down in his life. and his kids were more self-sufficient. He had more time for himself. He picked up Breath of the Wild and loved it to death. Didn't 100% that, but the only thing he didn't do was Korok seeds.
Okay, he basically 100%.
He has every armor set. They're all fully upgraded. All the DLC, or actually, I'm not sure about the DLC. I think either way, put a ton of time into the game. And he told me afterwards, he said, I'm done. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. And throughout, the lead up to Tears of the Kingdom, I've asked him like, hey, you gonna play it? Come on. Like, you got to play Tears of the Kingdom. Come on. He's like, nope, I'm done. And then on Thursday, right? It was Thursday when you showed me the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, have you seen the new Tears of the Kingdom trailer? And he said, no. And I said, go watch it right now. He said, okay. He went and watched it. The next text I got was, I guess I have one more game in me.
Oh, let's go.
Come on. This game is... Do we even need to have... Well, okay, I'm not going to say this. Do we even need to have Game of the Year this year? We all know what Game of the Year this year is.
Yeah, no.
It's Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
We're still going to have it because obviously we need to give some awards to Engage, and I have some other games that I want to give awards to myself. But, like, Tears of the Kingdom, like...
I mean, everybody in the industry knows, oh, man, it's going to take that title by a landslide. Even the actual Game of the Year awards, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to win it.
Frankly, there's not much else coming out this year. Like, honestly, this is probably the best bet for, like, a runner-up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know of many other major releases that are coming anytime soon.
I feel like I'm forgetting something, like, PlayStation-wise. I don't know. But, yeah, I can't think of anything.
I think you're right. I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake second part comes out at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you were thinking of, maybe?
No, I totally forgot that was even a thing.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, because when Breath of the Wild came out, the main contender, at least in my opinion, was Horizon Zero Dawn. That came out like a month before Breath of the Wild did.
Yes,
and it got completely overshadowed by Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Personally, I put Mario Odyssey as my runner-up for Game of the Year that year, but I also didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn. So, can you remember that? 2017 was
that was a killer year for video games.
Well,
yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. Talk about something for like 2 seconds while I pull this up.
So also, are those Zonai people? I think they're Zonai people that we saw in the trailer.
It could be that.
You see some. They're not like the Sheikah monks, they're not like near mummified or anything. Mm-hmm. They look more rejuvenated.
Yeah.
But I wonder what those people are. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm excited to see. I agree. So just to give y'all context, and anyone who's really into video games will understand pretty much what all these games are, but I'm going to explain them anyway for some of our listeners that aren't as involved. So you have Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. Immediately, any series where they're going to have like a Game of the Year nomination because of their name. Okay. You have Horizon Zero Dawn. You had Resident Evil 7, which was like a big return for that series. People were like, okay, they're finally getting back on track. You had Nier Automata, which didn't even get a Game of the Year nomination. Didn't get one at the Game Awards. Mm-mm.
Oh, I can't believe you remember that.
But is obviously so beloved that, 6 years later,
play that.
Right, it's still widely talked about. Yeah. You had Cuphead, which was a little platformer that they drew in the style of old, like 1930s cartoons.
Yeah.
What Remains of Edith Finch is a lesser known game, but a game that in the indie space is super beloved because of its story. And those are just 8 of the like 20 or so here that I would consider like major studio releases that came out. So 2017 was a pretty dang good year for video games. And I wish it was still like that. I felt like last year there were so many games that came out that I was like, I wish I could play that. Like there was a lot of good games that came out last year.
PlayStation side?
Oh, I've got a whole list.
Yeah, I know there's a lot.
Got a whole list.
Play there.
I'm working on it. Kind of. I think I mentioned this to you. Actually, never mind. I don't think we'll share that for the podcast. Okay. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and you know what? Maybe it's a good thing that there aren't a ton coming out this year because
we both know our time's gonna be
our
completely.
I feel like I feel like I'm definitely compulsive when it comes to gaming, and I don't feel like you're compulsive when it comes to it. I think you still keep a level headed, but I think compared to other things in your life, when it comes, like if there was one thing that you are compulsive about or get easily excited about, it's definitely games.
Yeah.
Right? Like even then, like you definitely take your time to like think about purchases, and like you're not as, I don't know, you just are a bit more willing to jump in to things and just make the financial investment when it comes to gaming stuff.
That's true. More than anything else I can really think of. Yeah.
You bought a PC. Like low key out of the blue. Like, no. I mean, had something you'd wanted but hadn't really prepared for, and then when the opportunity arose, you were like, all right,
you're so right.
PC time. Let's go. And there you go.
That was during the GPU drought too, so that was kind of insane getting all the parts. If any of you are interested, by the way, into PC building, let me know. Join us in the Discord, because I'd be happy to help you out.
There you go.
Buy parts. Right now is a great time to build a PC. Fantastic time. Prices are reasonable, and SSD prices are very good.
Bam.
So, is that okay?
Yeah.
There's one more thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I want to know what's going on with Zelda. Toward the beginning of or a midpoint of the trailer, she says, something along the lines of, I know what I have to do now. Like, I found my role. And then at the end of the trailer, she says, Link, you must find me. So I'm hoping that it's not that she takes more of an active role throughout the story than she did in Breath of the Wild. And she seems to have interaction with other characters. We see somebody literally like put their hand on Zelda like during the trailer and stuff. And I don't think she's going to be playable, but yeah, I just wonder what's going on there. And she's wearing different clothes, right? Like she's got these earrings that resemble some like Zonai structures and a thing on her forehead and stuff. I'm just really excited.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good. But there you go. And even if you've already seen the trailer, maybe go watch it again, because it's kind of awesome. Go watch it.
And no affiliation or anything, but Zeltic released a nearly hour-long analysis video on that trailer, which means he's got a lot of stuff to tell us. Also, HMK, I think, has an analysis video. Those are my two favorite Zelda analysis channels, so check them out. Give us your comments and feedback. Again, join us in the Discord. Give us... I already said give us your feedback. Let us know your thoughts. But in our Patreon, everything, social media, garbage, all of that will be in the description.
Of course. And as always, thank you to our Patreon, Joshua, for being our down-to-earth cockatiel. We really appreciate your support. It means a lot to us.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you very much. And just for you, Joshua, special little announcement, your Patreon episode's coming. So be ready for that. So we love y'all.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Love you.